I want that organism alive.
I think you ticked it off.
Hello everyone, welcome to Kill the Cast. My name is Jerry, and joining me today is the ever-quotable Jay.
Oh great, I killed the strawberry jam.
And the Silent Hill biker himself, Kenneth.
Yeah.
Always the greatest entrance you can give, Kenneth.
What do you want? You want me to go skipping for joy and fucking, yeah, I'm on the podcast again, woo!
Yeah,
It'd be nice.
Goddamn
Okay, well then I'll start doing that. You know what I'm saying?
Show some joy and happiness, like Christmas time.
Okay.
Anyway, Jay, what have you been doing this week?
Working, finding new places to live. That's about it. I don't think I've done anything horror related besides watch the movies we need to watch for our podcasts. I'm gonna go see the Meg tomorrow, though, and you've already seen the Meg, and you're gonna talk about it on a podcast tomorrow that's not ours, so there's that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go talk about it on Evil Episodes, Just the Movies. So get ready for that, guys. You'll get to hear me, who's been waiting for this movie for 15 years, talk about the movie. So there's that. And Kenneth, what have you been up to?
Not really shit. I started Castle Rock, that show on Hulu.
Is it good?
I'm enjoying it. It's definitely got that fucking Stephen King movie feel.
So I'm trying to decide if I want to watch it as it comes out or wait for the whole thing to be done.
That's the only thing that pissed me off, man. Because there was like, when I started it, there was only 4 episodes. And now the 5th one's on there. But they come out every Wednesday. And it irritated me because I'm used to like Netflix, where Netflix drops a whole fucking season.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that man, that fucking just sucks. I don't wait for fucking episodes anymore. That's what happened to me with Game of Thrones. I wasn't waiting per episodes, and the next thing you know, I got 6 seasons to watch.
It's the way to be, honestly. And I round out the whole not doing shit because I haven't really been doing anything horror because I've been playing tactics games. So there's that. I am going to be on a bunch of podcasts. Tonight we record Kill the Cast. Monday I record Evil Episodes, Just the Movies. Tuesday I record Hero Ghost Show. And then Wednesday I'm supposed to record Cut to the Chase. So look at there. There's a whole lot of shit that involves a whole lot of me talking. But other than that, I really have not done anything whatsoever. So let's go into the big thing I want to talk about first. Patreon. We are changing how we do Patreon. We all got together and talked, and I said, guys, I got an idea. Kenneth told me to shut the fuck up, and Jay was like, no, let him talk. And Kenneth was like, okay. So what I said was, what if we do a Patreon show every month, and we will, at least 2 of us will be on the show. As much as possible, we'll have all 3 of us, and we will review, kind of round robin style, movies that were recommended to us from the Patreon in a Patreon only show. That will come out exclusively for Patreon, and then maybe it'll get released like a week later as a regular show. I don't know yet. I haven't decided. But with that being said, we will have one. Our first one will be coming up soon, and Derek from Underwater Kaiju from Outer Space and Cinema Attack podcast has given me 3 movies, so we will be doing those 3 movies. And it'll be fun, and I'm going to restructure the Patreon and kind of redo everything just to mix it up and see if we can create something nice. With that being said, the second topic is, y'all know how I don't like the Terminator and Top
You don't like
Gun
anything good.
and
Yes.
Back to the Future.
You don't like Back to the Future?
No, I don't really like Back to the Future.
What the? That's not even an action movie. It's just a comedy.
Yeah,
Dude,
it's not
I
that
spent
funny.
Yeah, Jerry, you're going to love. I just spent the past few days, outside of watching Castle Rock, watching shit like fucking Kickboxer and American Ninja and all those good, badass fucking 80s
Look,
cheese fucking
we all
action
know there
flicks.
is only one good action movie from the 80s, and that's Ninja 3: The Domination.
Yeah, that's a good one, too.
But the other ninja movies are just as good.
No, they're not.
Yes, they
American
are.
Ninja is amazing.
Sho Kusagi is amazing. I would watch him do
That
anything.
doesn't even sound American.
He's the guy. He's the ninja who gets killed at the beginning of Ninja 3: The Domination.
Yeah, because he's not American.
Jesus
Okay.
Christ.
So it's I don't really like action movies, and I especially don't really like action movies from the 80s. I don't. There's actually a huge chunk of 80 movies that people love that I just don't like. So
You start a podcast with Alex just fucking talking about these movies that you despise.
God, kill me now.
You hear that, Alex? I'm gonna fucking get you to do a podcast with me about these movies.
So the RoboCop got brought up today in the group chat, and I mentioned, I don't really care for RoboCop. I don't hate it. I'd rather watch it than a Terminator movie, but I don't remember really caring for it. So a fit was thrown, and I grabbed my Blu-ray.
I didn't throw a fit. I just explained that it's way more than just a standard action movie.
It's not. It is a completely standard action movie. It is.
No,
they were like,
dumb.
it's a sci-fi classic. This movie is literally 95% action movie and 5% sci-fi. There is no sci-fi. The only
I don't even care what genre you put it in.
A
It's still more than
robot.
just an action movie.
It is not. It is a fucking generic action movie where
definitely not
you
generic.
don't have any time to actually get to know the character before he becomes a bland robot who fucking just walks around shittily and shoots people.
Yeah, well, that's wrong.
That is not wrong. Like, okay, so yeah, the first one we're doing in this new segment of why does this host hate this shit? Mine is effectively called Jerry Hates the 80s, and specifically action movies in the 80s. And the first one we're going to talk about is RoboCop. Not a horror movie, but this is just kind of a fun side piece. But yeah, I don't like action movies. I especially don't like 80s action movies. And so I watched RoboCop today. And it is pretty much just another generic 80s action movie with a bit
I have your
more
Blu-ray?
gore. No, you can't have my Blu-ray.
Well, if you're gonna sit here and you're gonna spend the next 5 minutes shitting on the movie, you don't deserve to have it.
Well, I bought it, so I get to have it. So it gets to sit over there on the shelf, just like the witch gets to sit over here on the shelf and
Well,
just
I'm worried
sit there.
about that one. I
Just
own
like
that one
the
already.
Back to the Future Blu-ray collection that's sitting on the shelf.
I got on those too.
You know, I don't care that, like, I can own movies I don't like. Especially when I bought that RoboCop one for like $3.
My question to you is, man, is even though, objectively, even though you fucking dislike the movies or whatever else, the practical effects, can you at least give credit to those?
It's,
I mean, like
it's
when
just
Murphy's getting all fucking shot up and shit like that.
It's
that looked
really not
awesome.
that hard to just do a bunch of blood packs that shoot out. It not like
His arms get blown off.
Yeah, dude, it looked awesome. And then the way his head and everything looked, and then inside the suit itself. I remember watching a documentary on it where he said that, damn, wearing that suit all day to do the scenes and everything, it was so hot because they made it to where he couldn't breathe. Like his body couldn't breathe inside of it. And so it was so hot that they ended up having to pull him out because he was passing out inside of it, but it was so stiff that he couldn't fall over. And so he damn near hurt himself, and they had to basically cut him out and make another suit.
welcome to Godzilla 1954.
So
Been
wait.
there, done that.
Did you pick up on the fact that OCP transferred Murphy because he was a good cop and more likely to get killed at that new precinct so they could enroll him in the RoboCop program?
Sure. There's no
So I'm gonna
characters
take
in
it
this
as-
movie that I care about. Like, none
I'm
of these
just saying
fucking...
it's more than just an action movie.
All right, Jay, seriously. You have to, like, every time I start, you stop me.
I'm
Let
sorry.
me finish.
I apologize.
Okay. There's no characters in this movie you give a shit about because they never give you a chance to care about fucking anyone. You spend more time learning about the fucking bad guys than you do the good guys you're supposed to care with. This movie is all flash. It's all bang, bang, shoot 'em up and no substance, which is typically why I don't like action movies. They try to use a sci-fi background to make this be something more than it is, but it's not. It's still just a 100% generic action movie with a whole lot of bangs and explosions. And they were like, well, we'll trickle in a little bit more gore. And look, it involves robots. And the coolest robot you don't even get that much time with, the big fucking trash can looking motherfucker. He was cool.
Ed 209.
Yeah, Ed 209. You don't get any time with him. It was like, okay, thanks for showing the one cool thing and then not using it. Also, Robocop should not be able to walk in dirty, muddy water. That should really fuck up his shit. I don't really see how that was possible. But
we have phones that can go in the ocean. Why can't a robot go in mud?
Because phones that go in the ocean weren't around in the 1980s. And this movie is in the
sci-fi future.
Nah, this movie's in the future? What part of shitty 80s LA about this was the future, besides the shoehorned in robot plot?
It takes place in 2043.
Wow, they fucked that up bad. This does not look like anything that takes place in 2043. This doesn't even look like it takes place in fucking Michael Douglas's Falling Down 90s world. It doesn't look futuristic. It's Falling Down's amazing. That's a good movie. Don't waste your time watching RoboCop. Go watch Falling Down. That's a fucking movie with substance. But no, I did not get why y'all liked it. It's a play by the numbers action flick, and it's probably because I don't like action flicks that I didn't care for this movie. I don't necessarily think it's a bad movie, but I was bored pretty much the whole time because there's nothing to latch on unless you want to just watch things go boom.
Oh, I'm looking up how much it's going to cost me to own them all.
There's a box set. It shouldn't be that too expensive. I have it.
Those movies can't get
Well, the DVD
better.
box set. The DVD box set for the trilogy is like $12.89, but I want them all on Blu-ray, and I can get the first one for like $9.
Oh, it's not worth $9.
The second one, the second one and the third one are the most expensive because they're shout factories.
Oh, you know what would be interesting to do the 3 RoboCop movies against the 3 fucking Darkman movies?
How are those even remotely related?
Because, like, people love the first one, and then they were like, let's put out 2 more shitty sequels.
It's been so long since I've watched the Darkman movies that I can't remember whether the second one and the third one sucks or not. I can't remember.
I don't know, I'd probably watch them over RoboCop.
I own them, so, I mean, I could watch them. I came across a box set somewhere for a really good price. I can't remember, though.
I need to get the first Darkman on Blu-ray. But yeah, I just like, why do people call this a sci-fi classic? It's really not sci-fi at all.
Saving someone's dying brain and turning him into a robot is kind of science fiction.
Like, but yeah, like they did the bare minimum of science fiction. It was literally like an action movie was like, hey,
thank you, Jay.
You can copy me, but change it a little bit so people don't get suspicious. And they were like, all right, we'll fucking add some sci-fi to it. And then added like the bare minimum sci-fi.
I guess. I don't know. I think you completely missed the point if all you saw were explosions.
What's the point here? Okay, explain to me the point then.
So, you say they don't have any characters, but he literally overrides his programming because he loves his wife and child so much, and then makes the heartbreaking decision not to reveal himself as alive to them because they're better off without knowing how he ended up. How is that no character development?
Because they undo that because he supposedly was able to break free from his programming. Then he falls right back into having to follow that programming in the fucking scene when they're in the conference room because he's like, I can't go against the people that programmed me or whatever until they fire him, and then all of a sudden he can fucking kill them. But if he already broke through his programming, he should already be able to do that.
No, it's different. That's
How
a
is it
command
different?
because the electronic commands that control his physical body are different than him overriding everything in his own brain.
That doesn't make sense on a
Wesley
computer
Snipes and
level.
Demolition Man.
If
Kind of like
you-
the same thing with Wesley Snipes and Demolition Man. Where
If
his
you're-
brain, he was thinking to himself that he wanted to kill the dude in Demolition Man, but his body wouldn't let him.
So he can go against the orders when it suits him, but when it's against...
In no
it
place
doesn't
in that
make
movie
sense.
does he break any of his other directives.
You just said, his other directives. So he can break one directive, but he can't break any other ones.
He doesn't break any of his directives. There is no directive saying...
So then he never overrid his mind because of his family.
No, they erased his memories.
No, they apparently did
got
not.
them back.
Then they didn't erase them.
It's literally like 300 different sci-fi movies with that exact same plot point where someone's mind gets something, yada, yada, yada. Like Get Out is the same thing. They pushed their consciousness back and he brought it back. It's just, like literally the same thing.
So he can find the memories that they erased and use that to disobey orders, which he clearly disobey orders. They keep telling him to stop and come back, and he does not do it.
But he doesn't look at the 4 directives that he has, and he doesn't break any of those the entire movie.
But he can disobey orders. Well, how come he can disobey orders at one point in the movie and he can't disobey orders later in the movie?
Because the cops don't owe him. OCP owns him.
And OCP tells him to stop, and he does not stop.
Look at the directives. Do any of them say stop when someone tells you to stop?
If OCP tells him to stop, yes, that would be a directive.
It's not.
Those are the people that control him.
List the ones that he has to follow.
That movie just does not. I understand what you're saying, but the movie just disagrees. Because the movie's like, no, fuck that. We do what we want, whenever we want. We're not going to have any, like, cohesive narrative. This movie barely has a fucking story.
So his directives are serve the public trust, protect the innocent, and uphold the law. By not listening to OCP, he's not breaking any of those. 4 is you can't act against a member of OCP.
Okay, him disobeying a law, a command from an OCP person, is him doing that 4th one. Him breaking it. That is the same thing.
No.
How is it not?
Because it's not. He's not... When he actually goes to do it, when he actually tries to kill the guy and or arrest the guy, that's when it kicks in. So, just walking when the guy tells him to stop is not part of that.
How? You're disobeying OCP. You are going against your 4th directive. Okay, what does it say again? What does it say?
Let's see. Okay, so the exact wording of the 4th directive is an OCP product shall not act against OCP's best interests.
Okay, I would
to
argue
arrest a senior officer of OCP results in shutdown.
Okay, I would argue that not listening to an OCP directive would not be in their best interest. So if they tell you to stop, it is in their best interest that you stop. Correct?
Maybe.
How is that a maybe?
It depends.
How does it depend? Is it if the OCP tells him to stop and he does not do it, he is clearly going against a directive that is them telling him to do something. Him not doing it is not in their best interest. I don't see how you can argue against that.
I don't know. I'm not awake enough to continue this, but I just feel differently than you.
I mean, I understand you feel differently, but like, Kenneth, what do you think? Am I wrong or am I right?
The biggest reason why I'm being quiet at this current moment is because I didn't watch the movie today and I haven't watched it in a while, so I can't make a really good argument because I don't have it freshly on the brain.
Okay, but still,
that's the reason why I'm not saying anything. Going on what I'm hearing at this current moment. Like I said, I mean, with the details that y'all are giving me, Jerry would be correct. But at the same time, I'm not going to give him 100% full correctness because I don't know. I haven't watched the movie recently, so I don't know exactly to have any kind of argue points. But just on the facts that y'all are giving me back and forth at this current moment, Jerry's right.
All right, so RoboCop has a plot hole.
But
well,
like
every movie has a plot hole.
I can't argue 100%.
Did you laugh at the fake commercials?
Oh, the stupid like big dinosaur thing and the guy that kept saying, "I'll buy that for $1."
No. Like the
what do you
like
mean the big dinosaur commercial?
Nuclear warfare, where like actual small nuclear explosions go off.
Nah, I didn't think that was funny.
I quit.
I just didn't think it was funny.
Let's move on.
So anyway, my verdict is I don't like RoboCop.
Yeah.
There was no changing my mind today, unfortunately.
I'm going to go double feature RoboCop and Nightmare on Elm Street and cry.
Throw the witch in there.
No, we agree on that one.
All right, guys. So I don't know when this section come back up. I don't know how many people I just pissed off because I know RoboCop is highly loved. But it's just not for me. I don't think it's a bad movie. I just think that it's one of those movies like A Nightmare on Elm Street where a lot of people just overlook the flaws in the movie. And with an action movie, I personally think that's okay. Like, do you none of the shit that's important to me about a movie is really that important in an action movie.
I just feel like there's more to it than what you feel.
I think it depends on the action movie. I really do.
So let me rephrase that. I agree with your statement that things like that don't matter in an action movie. But I feel like your evaluation of RoboCop is wrong, and I'm sure there's somebody out there better who can word it way better than I can right now.
I mean, it's like at this current moment, if I'm not mistaken, all three of us like the first Predator movie. Okay, I think Jerry likes the second one more than
I like the
first.
second one way more.
The second one is a better movie, that's why.
But I'm just saying. All right, if you didn't have would you consider the first Predator movie sci-fi or action?
I consider it sci-fi action.
Its main genre to me is action.
Yeah.
Okay, but without the solid plot points that it has for the time period that it came out, probably wouldn't have the second one, because the second one is more of a building on the foundations of the Predator itself.
I just feel like in the first Predator movie, it really is just, to me, the first Predator movie is just stupid action. And when it made enough money that they made a sequel, that's when they were like, oh, well, let's build on the mythology of the Predator, because we didn't do that like barely at all in the first movie.
See, I disagree, man. Because I personally like the
think I might
first
be
one
with
better
Jerry
than the
on this
second one. I personally like the first one better, and I like the second one.
I'm not saying which one's better. I'm just saying that the first one is like, it's mostly action, as to where the second one actually has more interesting elements, where it actually has the cop mystery element to it. It's to me just a much more interesting movie. It is slower than the first movie.
The only point that I'm trying to make is that, without that's one of those, if you want to consider it an action movie, that's one of those action movies where the plot points matter. Out of the
because it got a sequel.
Very few.
I don't explain your logic here.
The logic that I'm going at with that is that the plot points matter to further the story on that one versus Commando, where the plot points don't mean shit.
So but if it would have never got a sequel, then the plot points wouldn't have mattered. So it only matters if there's a sequel.
Yeah, they did to me, because that gives you at least a little bit of background on the creature that they're fighting in it.
I mean,
I feel like Predator and Commando have the same amount of story.
I haven't seen Commando in forever, but I don't feel like Predator has story.
Well, that's kind of where, like, he just said that what he said about Commando, I think, also applies to Predator.
I don't know if I'm hearing what Kenneth is trying to say wrong or not, because I'm hearing that the plot points matter in Predator because a sequel was made.
If there was never a sequel made, I still think the plot point mattered to further the story of the first movie. I think the first movie had a story. I think the first movie got pushed along further because of the plot points of the story versus other cheesy action movies from the time.
I don't feel like, well, one, every movie has a story, but action movies tend to have like the smallest bare bone structured story it can have.
And I think Predator had more than that.
I don't agree with you there.
I even think Predator had more than RoboCop, and I still think RoboCop had a solid story too.
I don't agree. Like, the first half of Predator is just a standard Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. Like, they don't even get to the Predator until after they've taken out the terrorist camp or whatever the hell it is, the guerrillas.
My problem is action movies just seem so cookie cutter. Like, everything is just real simple and basic. And that's why I just can't get into them. I don't get... The things that people love in action movies just don't get to me. I don't care about the gunfights and the explosions and the fast cars. And almost every action movie I see tends to not have the elements that make me want to do it. The only action movies I like are the ones that blend a lot of humor, aka Will Smith is probably in them. Cause I'll sit here and be like, I 100% would rather watch Wild Wild West any day over RoboCop.
I think it depends on the day.
Yeah, but for me, it's any day.
Yeah, like, for me, it depends on the day.
Like, I just don't like action movies. So I guess the question comes out, what 80s action movie should I watch next to piss off everyone?
You know what I'm gonna do? Instead of like finding one that I know you'll hate just for the fun of it, I'm gonna sit down and pick my own brain and find one I think you'll enjoy, like legitimately.
Good luck.
It's gonna take a while. I can't promise that next episode I'll have one, but I'm gonna go through. I'm just gonna like start googling lists of best action movies, and I'm gonna find one that I think Jerry would legitimately
even in
enjoy.
The 90s. I don't like a lot of the ones that came out in the 90s. Mission Impossible, don't like it.
Even the first one, that was like all mystery.
Don't
and
like
it's
it.
De Palma too.
De Palma's a fantastic director, but he's done way better stuff.
Interesting.
So I mean, it's
also like the most least Mission Impossible out of all of them. Like what Mission Impossible evolves into is a far cry from the first one.
Yeah, I think the first one and the second one are probably the ones that I like the most. And
well,
then
the second one is just a John Woo movie with a Mission Impossible label.
I know, that's the reason why I liked it.
So I probably would not like the second one.
After that, the rest of them are terrible.
I've only ever seen the first. There's so many series where I've seen like the first, like I've seen the first Mission Impossible. I've seen
just enough for you to say you don't like it and not watch the rest of them. Right?
Enough for me to say I didn't care for this. I don't really have an urge to continue to watch the series. So I don't say the other movies are bad because I've never seen them. I just don't like the first one. Transformers, I saw the first one, didn't like it.
You definitely won't like any of the other ones. They just get worse.
Yeah, I was going to say they're all about the same.
And worse.
But I've seen the first 3 Fast and the Furious movies.
I'm surprised you made it that many.
And I don't like those.
Not surprised at that.
Yeah, but you still like adventure-y type action movies.
I like adventure ones like Indiana Jones because adventure ones tend to have better story.
Did you like National
Romancing the Stone? Yes. National Treasure, if I was going to watch an action movie and a dumb action movie, I'd rather watch a National Treasure than like an Expendables.
I hear you.
I've only seen the first Expendables also and didn't like it.
I'm not surprised you didn't like it.
Yeah, that's just an 80s action movie.
Yeah, I mean, that was the point of that one.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I know you like the adventure type ones. That's the reason why I asked, because National Treasure's kind of got that. But at the same time, it's no Indiana Jones or Pirates of the Caribbean.
But guess what? The guy who directed National Treasure is the guy who directed The Meg.
Like I said, I'm just going to wait on it to come out on Blu-ray.
Yeah. My quick review of The Meg, if you're interested, spoiler free. If you like shark movies, this is on par with Deep Blue Sea, Shark Night 3D, and Bait 3D. It is a second tier shark movie. And of course, first tier shark movies, Jaws. There are no other movies in that list. It is just Jaws. Don't compare it to Jaws. It is a B tier shark movie. As a movie, it is your basic popcorn summer action movie. That's it. That's what it is. It is cookie cutter and action, and that's it. Except change out explosions for giant shark, I guess. And then as a fan of the book, is nothing like the book. Just throw the book out and watch the movie as if you had never read the book.
I have a surge to want to watch Piranha 3D.
I love Piranha 3D. I finally got a copy of the 90s Piranha remake, and I'm going to watch that soon. I'm very excited.
Your next movie is Top Gun.
he
Oh,
hates Top Gun.
fuck. I guess I'll have a reason to watch my Laserdisc of Top Gun.
No,
Yep, I just looked
I know
up.
You won't like Top Gun.
I don't care whether he don't
I-
like it.
I
or
know
not.
I don't
I'm
like
gonna
Top Gun.
force it. I want him to watch it.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, though, I'm gonna find one that he will like.
Yeah, you have fun with that. And
that's
while
my
you're
goal.
finding one that he will like, I'm gonna make him sit through ones that he hates.
Why don't you just make me watch Pearl Harbor, you fucking sadist?
Ugh,
Okay.
That's a terrible movie.
That'll be the one after you get done with Top Gun.
That's a terrible movie. At least
You know
Top
what?
Gun
I'm
is a
gonna
good
stop
movie.
before I somehow end up watching fucking Armageddon.
Oh, that's the
No.
next one I was.
No, that's a terrible movie too.
Oh, by the way, another genre I hate: the
Disaster movie.
disaster movie. Fucking hate them.
Deep Impact was good.
What
No.
about Independence Day? That's a disaster movie
Nope.
with Will Smith.
Nope.
You love.
Nope, not a disaster movie. Alien movie. Disaster movies are done by natural disasters.
If I had
Fair
to
enough.
choose between, like I said,
What
I
about
like,
Mars Attacks?
Also an
Angry movie.
alien movie. What are you talking about?
I know. I'm just asking if you like it.
It is one of the few movies by that director that is decent. His best movie is still Ed Wood. Fuck anyone who says differently.
I've never seen Ed Wood.
It's because it's the only good one.
I actually like disaster movies.
I don't. I fucking hate
I like
them.
I like ones that are like I said, if I had to choose between Armageddon and Deep Impact, I would choose Deep Impact
I would
because
choose
Deep Impact is more serious.
I would
and-
choose suicide.
So what?
I would choose suicide.
Well, good for you. Damn. And the reason being is because to me it's more serious and it's got more of the sciencey type shit versus the, it's like the difference between Dante's Peak and Volcano. Dante's Peak to me was a better movie.
Yeah. See, the thing is though, is that I don't want to close my eyes because I miss you, babe, and I don't want to miss a thing.
Yeah, exactly. See, that's all that. No, there was no need for that.
Oh, come on, man! Best part of the
Ben
movie.
Affleck was kind of cute in it.
Ben Affleck is always cute.
I like Ben Affleck, so can't say shit there.
Seriously though, after Top Gun, we're gonna go with Point Break.
Point Break. I don't even know what
gonna-
that one's about.
He's gonna hate that.
I don't care.
I
Got a
don't-
digital
I don't-
copy of it for you.
Okay, I was about to say because I don't have Point Break. I have a
I got
laser disc of Top Gun.
I got you for Point Break.
All right, well that decides that. So leave me all the hate in the Facebook group about how I'm wrong.
I can't wait to see the comments when you trash
Tell-
Point Break.
Will horror fans care?
No.
Also, let us know if we should not make this a segment on Kill the Cast and if it needs to be like its own special thing. Personally, I just want to do it on Kill the Cast because it's something to throw in before we tackle a movie, just for fun, for funsies.
Funsies.
Or maybe we'll make it where it's on the Patreon show or something. I don't know.
I've been begging to branch out, so even hearing you talk about stuff that's not horror related is, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I want to hear you keep begging, so I don't want to agree to do something. Okay, so in the Facebook group, let me know if you think I'm right, if you think I'm wrong, if you're with Jay and there's more to this story that I just did not see or did not get.
Have you ever seen the first Rambo
Yes.
and you hate it?
No, I like the Rambo. The Rambo movie. The first Rambo movie has story. I
Yeah,
can't
okay,
remember
see?
the second
I
one.
win. That's
The
it. My
third
mission is accomplished.
one-
I found an 80s action movie you like.
The third one is the third one where they go to the desert.
That's when they're in Afghanistan, yeah, and he has to
Yeah.
rescue his captain.
They're like, don't rescue everyone, but don't fucking kill anyone. What? The fuck? This is a Rambo movie.
I have a hard time with lumping the first Rambo movie in, even though it is an action movie. I have a hard time lumping it in with all the rest of the other cheese that came out in the 80s.
Shut up. I succeeded in my goal. It only took me 5
But
minutes.
here's the thing,
I-
Jay.
Game over.
Jay, find me one that you think I like that I haven't seen.
Well, I don't know
Rambo's
if that's
too easy.
possible.
Well, start doing research.
I mean, because because we could really go into something deep about the first one. So I can't even consider it cheese like 2 and 3. I saw
Well,
3 in the theater.
I didn't
Fair
get to
enough.
see any of them in a theater, unfortunately.
all right. Well, it's about time to tackle our main movie. All right, so we're doing the 1988 remake of The Blob. The original came out in 1958, but we're talking the remake because it's one of the greatest remakes of all time. Much like the Fly remake, it takes a classic story and then updates it with amazing practical effects. So now, Jay and Kenneth, this was both y'all's first time ever watching this movie, correct?
Yep. If I've watched it before, I don't remember a single thing.
Same for you, Kenneth?
Yeah. I mean, I had seen, as I was watching it, I know that I had caught like little clips or something like that, something from YouTube. But overall, as a whole, this was the first time I had ever watched it.
Now, funny enough, this director has done some pretty big movies, like The Mask with Jim Carrey.
Nice.
A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3.
Very cool.
What else did he do? I know he did something else that was big. Not Scorpion King. Let's skip that one. No, that was it. His first full directorial debut was A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3. Then he got to do The Blob, and then he did The Mask. So he had a run of three movies, with The Blob being the best.
I don't know. I like The Mask better.
Get the fuck out of here. You're fired from this podcast. How dare you?
It's like watching a fucking live-action
a
Looney Tunes.
accurate adaptation of The Mask.
You what?
I said I would love a comic accurate adaptation of The Mask, where he's like super violent and kills everybody.
Oh.
Agreed.
I don't know anything about the comic.
Here, perfect example. In the comic book, the thing where the guy who rips him off, the mechanic rips him off, and he jokingly and in a comically fashion shoves the tailpipe up his butt.
Yes.
So that happens in the comic, except it's what would realistically happen if you shoved a tailpipe up someone's ass.
Mm-hmm.
They would come? What would happen?
Well, yeah, clearly.
Okay. I have not had much. I don't have much experience with cars, so I just needed to, figure that out. Okay, so I'm gonna start with you, Jay. Jay, what's your thoughts on The Blob for your first time?
It was fucking a blast. Like, so much fun. I didn't really know. Like, I knew that it had good practical effects, but besides that, I didn't know really what to expect going in. And it's, while slightly predictable, it's just a fun time all the way through.
Yeah, now, have you ever seen the original?
Nope.
I kind of figured that. Kenneth, what were your first thoughts?
Practical effects were fucking awesome. Rest of it was alright.
What about that ending, though, with the fucking preacher having pieces of it saved and he's regrowing it?
Like I said, it was alright.
Really? I thought that ending was fucking awesome.
Yeah, it was just alright to me. I mean, it was like, it had that type of ending that would set up for a sequel, if a sequel had came.
Well, we're not getting a sequel, I don't think, but we are getting another remake with Samuel L. Jackson.
There's that. Okay, so
that motherfucking Blob
in that motherfucking theater.
Bacteria in my motherfucking planet.
What about the twist that it was man-made?
I saw that coming.
Yeah, me too.
Really?
Yeah,
as soon as the guy showed up, I was like, oh, okay, they did it.
Yeah, biological weapon.
I will say this: the scene that I refer to in most movies as a UFO in the woods is something I love seeing no matter what. I love when people are in the woods and just bright-ass white lights start shining everywhere.
Tommy knockers.
Yeah, Tommy knockers, X-Files, just anything that uses that, I fucking love.
The truth is out there.
The truth is out there. I love Fox Mulder. All right, so Jay, what was your favorite practical effect in the movie then?
I'd have to say when oh man, God, me and my names. The quarterback, when he gets eaten and like his skin is like melting and he's being dissolved, that's just fucking amazing. It's such a good way to like kick off the first like real introduction to what this blob can do.
Yeah, when the like Blob, when it looks like it's running over him and towards the back. Yes, that looks fucking great. Kenneth, how about you?
The phone booth.
Oh.
The whole sequence of the phone booth was fucking great. Like when she's standing in there and she sees Herb, you know what I'm saying, and his face gets all fucking distorted and shit, but it looks like he's still alive and looking at her.
Yeah.
I thought that was great.
You know what that
And then
scene reminds me of? The
What?
scene from Jaws when they're at Ben Gardner's boat and his head pops up.
Right. And then right after that, man, when the fucking the phone booth basically just implodes and Chick, you're looking down on Chick and she's still in there and all the goo gets all over and stuff. I just love that. The whole thing, I loved it.
And I love that it looks like rushing water coming into it.
Right. It was awesome. That to me was the best kill in the entire movie. That whole sequence right there was awesome.
Yeah. You know, this movie actually has a jump scare that always gets me. The when the guy gets he's at the sink that's clogged.
You want to hear something funny? All right, I was watching it again today, okay? And I was laying on my bed, and Mary Jane was sitting right next to me, and that jump scare scared her.
Well, Mary Jane, I'm with you.
When the thing comes up out of the sink, Mary Jane jumped, and she looked at the TV, and I started laughing.
That's pretty funny.
Poor kitty cat.
She's sitting right next to me right now, looking up at me like she wants something, and there's food and water over there. I don't know what the fuck she wants.
And there's actually only one practical effect in this movie that I don't like, and it's when the other football player, the rapist one, he's with the chick, and where her face like caves in. That's the only effect in the movie that I'm just like, oh, that was bad.
Yeah, well, see, I didn't like that segment at all. And the reason why I didn't is because, damn, I don't care how, I mean, you have to be insanely passed out drunk to not feel this thing eating you from the bottom. So, I don't know. I just did not feel, unless he slipped her some GHB or something, I just do not feel like.
You never know what's in his cherry cola.
Yeah, but at that point, you know, I mean, you look at him with his little mixer and everything in the back of his fucking car. You would think at that point he really wouldn't be thinking about more alcohol if he had slipped her date rape drug. You know what I'm saying? So it's like for her not to feel herself basically being, you know, digested by this thing long enough for him to come in there and her not scream or anything. I wasn't feeling that one.
I can feel you. I will say I do think that part of the movie just does not work and does not fit. It feels like it was just there to add to the death count, which is fine. And that was
the one that I had seen on YouTube at some point in time. I had seen that kill on YouTube.
Yeah, but the one of the ones I like is when the little kid dies in the sewer, and he pops back up before he gets taken back down, and he's all fucked up looking like Jason when he's fucking in the sewers of Manhattan.
See, the cool thing about watching movies like this that I have not seen is I'm beginning to realize, you know, how we always used to say that kids don't die in 80s horror movies and stuff like that. I'm beginning to realize as we do this podcast that happened more frequently than we think.
Yeah. Like between this, Alligator, which is still my favorite kid death scene of all time.
I've never watched it. I should watch it.
You've never watched Alligator?
Yeah.
Was he not on that podcast with us?
No, he was not. That was just you and I.
Was it?
Yeah.
Well, fuck. You need to remedy that, Jerry.
Yeah, because Alligator's fucking great.
Yeah, that's such a good movie, dude.
That movie's fucking awesome. Holy shit, you'd love it. But yeah, back to The Blob. The Blob. But no, in general, like, I really like this movie. This movie is a special effects darling. It is so fun to watch. The only thing I'm kind of sad about is, like, it needs a proper Blu-ray release that has, like, tons of special features. Because, like, my Umbrella one, while looks amazing, doesn't really have much for special features. I need a commentary for this. I need behind the scenes. I need interviews. I want to know how this fucking movie was done.
Well, hopefully one day, man. You might get one, but I don't know. After getting brain scan and realizing, it seems to me that it's so difficult for some of these movies to get good special features like what we want. I don't hold my breath much anymore, man. Because I was actually disappointed by the special features on brain scan.
Well, we'll get into that soon.
I still haven't got my copy yet.
What? Really?
Yeah,
That's what I
tomorrow.
told him. I asked him if he had the confirmation for it, and damn, if he does, I mean, if you don't get it tomorrow, man, I'd give him up.
There's no way they don't give you a tracking number, so I can't even see where it is. I have an order number, so if I contact their customer service,
That's what I'm saying.
I don't have a tracking number
because they're really good about replying. Like, I even got them to add, because I bought some stuff. I had pre-ordered some stuff from them that I did it in such a hurry. I didn't do it while I was in my actual account, so I actually had them add it to my account later.
I don't know if I even have an account.
It doesn't matter. As long as you've got that order number, you can hit them up and they can tell you if it's been shipped or not.
Yeah, because if it don't show tomorrow, I would call or email.
Or kill them all.
Yeah.
No, wait,
No,
don't
fuck
do
that. We got some good ones coming out this year.
Yeah, that's true. I definitely don't want that to happen. All right, back to the Blob. So I was kind of shocked to hear that neither one of y'all have seen this.
Me too.
Considering,
to be honest, I thought I had, but apparently not.
Like, because it's very it has a lot of scenes that are very, very reminiscent of John Carpenter's The Thing. It does the Blob with tentacles, because in the original Blob it doesn't have any tentacles. It just kind of gooeyly rolls over things, which I still like it, and like I'm so glad that they did a theater scene in this remake, because in the theater scene in the first one is one of the best scenes in the movie.
Dude, those two kids are definitely me.
Yeah, you're both of them?
Yeah, I'm literally both of those kids at the same exact time.
The one that survived was in Return of the Living Dead 2.
Oh yeah, he was.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot about that. Huh. But yeah, this fucking movie, man. So was there anything besides that one scene that y'all didn't like? Besides the car rape scene?
I don't think there was anything that I didn't like. I was thoroughly entertained the whole way through.
I mean, it's not that I didn't like it. It's just, I liked the movie. It's just, it wasn't,
It was too predictable for you?
Right. It just wasn't one of those movies where I was, like, overwhelmed by awesomeness. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you see, now here's what's funny for me. Whereas the stuff that Jerry likes in a movie isn't in action movies, and he doesn't feel it needs to be, which is why he doesn't like them. I don't feel like this was predictable. I don't feel like that took away from it because of everything else that was in it. The practical effects and all the kills make up entirely for the fact that it was a predictable movie, so it didn't bother me at all.
Well, it's kind of weird seeing Shawnee Smith not being a drug addict or a slut.
I'll give you that one. Gosh, she's hot.
But yeah, in everything you see her in, though, she's either a slut or a drug addict. This is the only thing I've ever seen with her in it that she was not that person.
I can't argue that. That's a valid fucking point.
I don't know if I've seen her in anything else.
Oh, she was in the first two Saw movies, and she was a drug addict.
Oh, is she Amanda?
Yeah.
Oh. Ah.
Yeah. So I want to touch on this predictability thing. How predictable a movie is depends on the person watching it. Much like how scary a movie is depends on the person watching it. So, how much of that can you hold against a movie? Like, if a movie's predictable to you, is it bad on the movie, or are you just super smart?
It depends. It depends on what the movie is going for. This movie wasn't going for some kind of big mystery. So the fact that you can see the stuff coming ahead of time isn't really a detriment, in my opinion. But if it's just, let's say, a movie like Seven can't really drop the ball when it comes to being predictable, or else half of the fun of it goes away.
Gotcha. Kenneth, what do you think? Because you thought it was very predictable. Do you feel like that's a flaw of the movie, or you're just really smart?
It's a flaw in myself. Because, like I said, I mean, this isn't a bad movie. You know what I'm saying? It's a decent movie. You know, it's got great special effects. You know, and it's got a story that moves along. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's not a bad movie, but at the same time, I mean, you take people like us who have seen movies like this, fucking thousands of movies. It's a flaw in myself that makes it that. You know what I'm saying? That's the reason why I can say my personal opinion of the movie is that it's all right. From a technical standpoint, the movie's good. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's really not any bad parts in it other than the date rape scene. For the special effects of the time, making the blob look huge was, you know, the best way to do it, and it looked great. One of my favorite scenes of the blob itself is when they're running down the hallway, going to the freezer, and you see it fucking chasing after them on the ceiling. I like that. You know, so overall, looking at all, you know, if we were to put it in a horror coliseum, it would get good scores.
So, did you predict Paul dying, or was that a surprise?
Oh, I knew he was coming.
Really? Because to me, I remember when I first watched, keep in mind, I was very young when I first watched this, but when I had first watched this as like a young teenager, maybe 14, because you know how many movies my dad had, when Paul died, I was shocked. I was like, did they just kill the main character?
That's another thing. You know why it was predictable to me? That's
why?
another thing where it's a flaw in myself. Because I knew that Shawnee Smith was going to be the main chick, because every movie like this has got a main chick.
Yeah.
I knew that she was going to be the main chick. And I knew that the long-haired guy, because at the beginning, I knew it was going to be him that was the main character.
I thought it was going to be all three of them. Like, I thought all three of them were going to be the main characters.
Then there would have been no love interest between the bad boy and the cheerleader.
Oh, no, there would have. It would have just been a love triangle.
Yeah, but see, that wouldn't have... It wouldn't have fit this. It would have fit something else, but it wouldn't have fit this.
So I didn't know that he was going to die, but I definitely knew that she was going to end up with the bad boy.
And then on top of that, his death scene makes the cover of the movie.
Oh, fuck. Is that him? Well, I mean, that could be anybody, really. Because it's the cover.
Because I was specifically looking for that one.
Because the cover of the movie is just pink with some person laying on it. And I think that person has boobs, Kenneth. I think you're wrong. Hold up. Yep, I think this person's got boobs on the cover.
Hang on.
Oh, yeah. Go to IMDb. This person has boobs. There are clear boobies. Either that or I'm really attracted to this busty man. I like the tagline. Scream now, while there's still room to breathe. The blob, Terra has no shape. Yeah,
okay, are you looking at the one that's got...
I was looking at the
one that looks like it's got a full torso of a person on it?
Yeah, I'm looking at the one
that's
IMDb.
That's not the one I'm talking about. The one I'm talking about is if you Google The Blob 1988, if you Google it, you'll find the covers and you'll see the one that I'm talking about.
Because the cover of my Blu-ray uses the one that's on IMDb.
Yeah, that's not the one I'm talking about. This is the one that I remember from when I was a kid seeing the cover of the VHS, and it's the guy's face with the blob over the top of it.
Hold on, I'm gonna look real quick because
just like I said, just Google it. I brought it up.
Oh yeah, I see. Wow, that looks fucking awful. That is the worst looking cover ever.
Dun dun dun.
But that was the one that I saw on the VHS in the video store when I was a kid.
Oh, I like the pink one so much better.
I like pink better too.
Oh man.
But I mean, yeah, you know, I mean, it's not being able to call everything in a movie that came out in 1988 is, to me, I just don't see it as difficult for a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? Because at that time period, the whole, in my opinion, the whole twisty, making everything to where, you know, it wasn't predictable, wasn't as popular as people try to do it now, or hell, in the last 15 years.
Yeah. Do you think that it hurt the movie a little bit to see it now as compared to if you would have saw it when you were younger? Do you think it would have had a bigger effect on you? Probably. Because I feel lucky to have seen this at a younger age.
Yeah, I think the scares. I think looking at it now, watching it, I'm not looking at it from a child's eyes. I'm looking at it from an adult horror fan's eyes. So therefore, I'm looking at it like, okay, this is awesome practical effects and all the rest of that stuff, versus other movies that I look at from an adult perspective that just flat give me the willies. You know what I'm saying? As an adult, because of their ability to be much more reality based. You know, like movies that I brought up in the past, like Eden Lake and stuff like that, where it's reality based, where this one is not reality based at all. So if I'd seen it from a child's perspective, seeing these special effects and seeing somebody get fucking pulled down a drain, you know what I'm saying? Which even now, that's kind of, if you think about it, that's still even kind of fucked up. But looking at it from that, hell yeah, it would have been one of those things that I remembered. It's the same thing with looking at Freddy Krueger from when I was a kid versus looking at Freddy Krueger now. When I was a kid, Freddy Krueger scared the shit out of me. I was so terrified of him that I couldn't see anything with somebody burned in it. And now I can fucking sit down and do what we did in the last Horror Coliseum and the further Horror Coliseums, where I'm critiquing it to the point of where I'm even admitting that it's not a fucking amazing movie.
Fair enough.
So yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of movies that I can look back on from when I was a kid that I saw when I was a kid that scared the shit out of me, and looking at them now, and they're some of the best movies that I've ever seen. Like the fucking Exorcist, man. They just scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. But it's my favorite fucking horror movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Jay, how about you? Do you feel like you wish you would have seen this as a kid as compared to now?
I think like maybe the main dude's death would have surprised me a little bit more, or not. Well, obviously he's not the main dude; he died as soon as the movie started. But I think his death may have surprised me a little bit more. And yeah, I think it would have been a more tense experience than I had now. I mean, watching it now, I'm just like, yeah, all those people are gonna die. That's awesome. But as a kid, I probably was like, holy shit, those people might die. Get out of there, little kid.
And what's crazy is this movie reminds me of the black trash bag thing from Creepshow 2.
Yeah. From the raft.
Yeah, and that scared me when I was a kid.
Oh, God, yes.
I hate black trash bags, so I'm with you there.
Wow, racist. Jesus.
Yeah, that segment of Creepshow 2 scared me when I was a kid. So I can really imagine, had I seen this, I'd probably been a little freaked out.
Now, Kenneth, you've seen the original, right?
Once, and very long ago.
Gotcha. Okay, well, I still like the original. I think
barely
the original
remember any of it.
The original is a lot of fun to watch, especially from a 50s point of view.
Well, any of those movies that came out back then were great anyway. I mean, going back and looking at them now, you know, and especially, you know, It Came from Outer Space and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I mean, all these movies were fantastic for their time, even though, you know, the effects weren't that great or whatever, but for the time they were amazing. And then on top of that, man, I mean, the social commentary behind a lot of these movies for then, oh my God. I mean, you can sit there and you can pick them apart to insane levels when it comes to that sort of thing.
Yeah, a big thing in the original Blob is the fact that the teenagers know what's going on and none of the adults will listen to them. Which they don't, they do in this one, but it kind of gets blown away by the government being involved.
Stupid government always experimenting on its citizens.
I mean, right. Like I was totally, you know, the sheriff's deputy who was ragging on, you know, the long-haired guy. I can't remember his fucking name now. Flag. The deputy that was ragging on him. I was so expecting the sheriff to start ragging on him too, and it turned into this whole thing and whatever else. That to me wasn't. But when the sheriff let him go, that was one that kind of threw me for a loop, because I wasn't expecting the sheriff to let him go because of the comment that he had made to him when he rolled up on him in the car. That's one thing that actually threw me for a loop, because I was just like, I was expecting the main sheriff to give him a whole lot more shit than he did.
Yeah, it actually kind of surprised me if he seems to be the town asshole. He was able to roll in that restaurant and still get a sandwich after they were closed.
You're right. You know what I'm saying? And for her to, you know, be for Fran, the one that died in the fucking phone booth, for her to fucking just be like just chilling, chit chatting with him in one of those things, and like not expecting him to steal anything or whatever else. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Yeah, give
I
him
don't
free
know.
pie and everything.
right?
She never got her date. Sad.
That is sad.
Yeah.
They were gonna go
Well,
listen
kind
to country
of.
music.
I mean, they kind of saw each other for a couple of seconds.
What do you mean? He didn't make it there in time to see her. She was dead.
It was okay. It was the sheriff that was supposed to come and meet her for a date that
Yep.
slammed into the glass of the phone booth.
No.
Yes, it was. That was Herb. Yes, it was.
The sheriff shows up at the end of the movie, Kenneth.
Mm-mm. He's dead. That's him.
What? Hold up. No. Let me see if I can look this up real quick, because I'm pretty positive he shows up at the end of the movie.
The sheriff's deputy shows up.
Well, yeah, I know he does. But the sheriff is the one that helps pick up the preacher.
Sorry for the technical delay, folks.
I've got the movie on right behind me.
Blob.
Yeah,
88.
I'm trying to see.
Phone booth.
Bam! Blob 88. Let's see. Whoops, not what I want. Come on, damn it. Phone, work faster for our studio audience.
All cannot be completed. Tries to pick up the phone.
Well, fuck, it does say the sheriff was eaten by the blob, so I guess that was him. So I think Kenneth is right.
Because that was part of the gag.
You're right. She's on the phone. She's on the phone asking for him, and they're like, "No, he's at the diner." And then
And that's
Kenneth
part of the
wins.
gag because
you
when
win,
she
sir.
Yeah, but and like I said, that was part of the gag because the reason why he was there is that he was supposed to be meeting her because her shift ended at 11.
Yep, you win, sir.
Yep, I have to give it to Kenneth on that one.
See, and that's the reason why I was just like, that's what made that whole scene right there fucking fantastic. It's like they got their little moment right before they both died together.
Damn it. I don't like being wrong on something, but I have to admit when I'm wrong.
Appreciate
Fuck.
that.
God damn it, Kenneth. Always being right
I know, what the fuck, Kenneth?
about shit.
You're not supposed to make me look bad.
And the funny thing about this is this coming from the guy that said, the movie was all right. I paid more attention to detail than both of you fuckers.
No, you just cheated by having it on in the background when we record.
That's funny because I've watched the movie just like in the past 2 months. I've probably watched the movie 3 times.
Well, to be
being this
honest
week.
with you, the first time that I ran through it, I was just like, is that him? And then I rewound it.
Wow.
And made sure because I
Damn
looked
it.
at it and then I was just like, wow, that looks almost like him. And then I put all of it together and I was just like, wow, that's fucked up.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Oh.
You're dead.
That makes the movie even better, in my opinion.
I agree.
Even if I was wrong.
That's
Which
the
has
reason
been
why
known
that
to
whole
happen.
segment right there is my favorite.
Damn it. Well, there you go, guys. That's the Blob. But before we leave, um,
He's going to end it on that. It's like, I was
Yep.
wrong.
I don't wanna
was
be-
wrong.
End the
Fuck
show.
you, we're done. I don't even want to keep going. We're just going to
I'm
end
going
it.
to go
right
back
there.
to eating my sausage. You guys can listen to that.
I got a sausage for you.
so Jay, a lot of people came
Yeah.
to the defense of A Nightmare on Elm Street after the Horror Coliseum episode.
Which is really funny since you guys kind of changed my mind.
Yeah, no, I was straight. Joey from Horror Mafia
I saw that. That was a heated conversation.
told me that his mind and every other Fred Head's mind will not be changed.
Yeah.
Basically told you can go suck a dick.
And in Austin Schroyer of the Woodsboro Brothers podcast told me that not one single critic out there would agree with me that Nancy is a bad actress.
I
Wow.
refuse to
They're
believe
wrong because I'm pretty sure Siskel and Ebert said it wasn't that great of a movie.
But did they specifically say Heather Langenkamp was a bad actress in the movie?
I don't know.
it. Who listens to Siskel and Ebert?
Let's see if I can find an actual review for it that's on a YouTube video.
Oh yeah,
Rotten
go
Tomatoes.
Google. Just Google, is Heather Langenkamp a bad actress?
There you go.
Or bad reviews Nightmare on Elm Street.
You know what's crazy? I was watching stuff on your Shudder, Jerry.
Yeah.
And I was watching that Pet Cemetery documentary. Did you watch that?
Yeah.
I was surprised at how much Heather Langenkamp was in that.
Yeah, you're right.
But, I mean, her old man was the dude that did the special effects, but I still was like, I was not expecting her to be in that documentary, oddly enough. It's a good documentary, though.
I
Maybe
can't
wanna watch
find
the movie.
anything.
Look
Either
on Rotten
way.
Tomatoes. I'm pretty sure somebody will be ragging on something on there.
Oh, that might, because it actually...
Well, but he said professional critic, so it has to be a professional critic.
Right, but since Rotten Tomatoes collects all professional reviews, and you can actually click to read them, which a lot of people don't, I should be able to actually find one by an actual
I didn't care enough to look it up because she is a bad actress in the movie. I just
professional critic or whatever. I just refuse to believe that somebody else out there did not have the opinion that her acting fucking sucks. I mean, she was better in 3. She was much better. I think she had obviously honed in her acting chops with whatever else she had been in, which I don't know. But she obviously had honed in her acting chops by New Nightmare. But the point is that it was not good.
Yeah, and my point is, the point of bringing this up is, it's okay if you love a movie, but like you can still acknowledge its flaws and love the movie. Like to think Nightmare on Elm Street doesn't have flaws is ridiculous.
Yes,
that's
exactly
flaws.
what you described is exactly where I'm at. I still love it. I'm not going to ever stop loving it, but I can definitely see where your complaints are validated.
Like.
Yeah, just because I agree and I think that the movie's got flaws in it, it ain't gonna stop me from. I'll probably end up watching it a few times throughout my life. So.
Yeah, don't just the point is don't say I refuse to change my mind. You just say, okay, it's got some flaws, but I still love it. I still think it's a great movie. Just because someone on a podcast doesn't like it doesn't mean you have to get
so I gotta read this because this is funny. So I found a People magazine review from 1985, so around the time it first came out.
Oh god.
It is on Rotten Tomatoes, it's listed as a rotten review, as in the critic didn't like it. Very bottom of the little review. Let's see. Langenkamp is quite impressive. If this were a different movie, her acting ability would probably attract some attention. But then in this kind of movie, it's not the actor's sweat and tears the audience cares about, it's only the blood. So this person did not like the movie, but said Heather Langenkamp was impressive.
What? Get the fuck out of here. Oh my god. No,
Whatever.
I'm sorry. She's a bad actress in that movie.
He
I hope
with you about the characters, though. He says, Craven is something of a generational turncoat. While he is 35, all his adult characters have the intelligence and courage of cantaloupes.
Damn.
Well, hold up. Don't talk bad about John Saxon, okay? I will... Don't ever you dare call John Saxon a cantaloupe. I will fucking fight
funny.
you. He
But
was in
on
Tenebrae,
Rotten
goddammit.
Tomatoes, out of actual critics, only 3 are set as negative reviews.
That's fine. I know, I have to respect the movie because so many people love it. Obviously, it did something right. Just because I don't like the movie and I see its flaws as big problems doesn't mean I'm the end-all, be-all. But
Right.
at the same time, it's not like I'm saying Sharknado is a perfect 10 out of 10 movie, okay? I'm not saying anything outrageous. I'm saying...
That movie has a rating?
Yeah, if you ask Don Anelli, who did that zombie 2-year anniversary show with us, he loves the Sharknado movies and gives them 10 out of 10s.
Me and him are going to have a talk.
Oh, no, everyone's tried to have that talk with him. He rates out of entertainment. Pure and simple, and those movies entertain the living shit
out of entertainment, okay. I did not make it through the first 5 minutes of the movie before I cut it off.
Oh, watch it with the riff tracks. It's fantastic.
I don't even want to do that.
I fucking hate the Sharknado movies and the Three-Headed Shark Attack movies and Ghost Shark and Snow Shark and Avalanche Shark and Gary Busey's Teeth Shark and sharks from New Jersey and fucking Virgin Sharks and sharks.
Virgin Sharks is my favorite.
Yeah, it was really good, but I liked Virgin Sharks 2 straight out of Madonna's vagina better. It just had better acting, in my opinion.
I just, man, when it really comes down to it, and maybe Don can explain it to me, because I do not understand in any way how anything past the first Sharknado movie got made. And the only reason why I think the first one got made is just for the hell of it. But people actually like it, to the point of it's not a thing of it's so dumb that I enjoy it. No, people actually like it.
So I'm going to try and relate this to something that exists already. And while I don't agree with it being on the same level or as good, I think this is kind of how these people see it. So look at Dead Alive. Dead Alive is not a good movie. The acting is bad. The plot is cheesy. Everything is over the top, and it's all done on purpose, and that's why we like it. It's the same way for the Sharknado movies. Now, again, I'm not saying Sharknado is Dead Alive, but it's the same way. Everything is so over the top and so dumb on purpose that that's what draws people in. It's not like a so bad by accident that it's funny movie. It's a bad on purpose, and people just like that stupid cheesiness of it.
Yeah,
the difference is Alive and boycott.
Well, the difference is with Dead Alive, there's like all this gore that's practical, so it makes it look like a better movie, as to where Sharknado is really cheap CGI, so it looks like a bad movie. And
Tara Reid was not in Dead Alive.
Yeah, Tara Reid's a terrible actress.
That is true. She is the Heather Langenkamp of shark movies.
I mean,
was that too far?
No.
Yeah. But she's way worse than Heather Langenkamp.
I absolutely fucking hate these movies because what they've done to the shark genre. One of the reasons I really liked The Meg is because at least it felt serious. Yeah, it had some humor and had some goofy stuff in it, but it felt serious as compared to fucking Shark Exorcist and fucking why are we putting Joe?
Wait.
What?
Was that a joke?
No, there's one that's called Shark Exorcist.
I'm done. That's it. I quit. I am no longer on Kill the Cast. That is it. Okay.
But that's the next movie we're reviewing.
No. I'm not going to do it.
Oh, my God. You know, but it's also why I like shitty shark movies from before they all start. Because Sharknado didn't start the trend, unfortunately. It was movies like Sharktopus and I want to even say that the Giant Shark versus Mega Octopus movies came before Sharknado. I know Sharktopus did.
Hey, but see, the bad thing about it is what happens, and I know this is kind of where you're going, but what happens is, damn, people expect movies like Shark Night 3D and stuff like that to be like Sharknado.
They're not.
And they're not. And the thing about it, I actually like Shark Night. I thought that was a good movie. Well, ish.
For a shark movie, it was a good movie.
Right. You know what I'm saying? And then when people... Did that one come out before or after Sharknado?
Before.
Okay, so if somebody that fucking liked Sharknado goes back and watches Shark Night, and they don't like it because it didn't suck...
Yeah.
That just irritates me, because we're never going to have a decent shark movie. I mean, granted, I haven't seen Meg yet, but we're not gonna have another decent decent shark movie because of movies like this.
We're getting there. We had 47 Meters Down, which was pretty good.
I haven't seen it yet.
We had The Shallows, which was pretty good. We are getting better shark movies, and it does seem like this whole sci-fi shark run is starting to go downhill, and that trend's... What?
The next Sharknado is the last one.
Yeah, but that's not going to stop
So they
them from
say.
doing, Ghost Shark on the Jersey Beach or Shark Beaver or some other stupid shit. Shark Beaver. I mean, like...
A platter shark?
Piranhaconda Shark.
That's my favorite.
There's a movie that actually has nothing to do with these. It's an independent movie, and it's like 3 hours long, and it's fucking absolutely horrible, but it's called Dick Shark.
I've heard of it. I don't really want to watch it.
It's awful. It's by this guy named Beelzebub who does all these like shitty fucking movies. Like he did Ant Farm Dickhole or some shit. They're awful. They're fucking garbage.
I mean, and that makes it's that actually puts into perspective what I've had in my thought process for a long period of time. That kind of cheese, like Sharknado, belongs in the porn industry.
But there's no nudity.
That's where that kind of cheese belongs. It belongs in those fucking stupid, hilarious fucking parody porn movies, like fucking A Wet Dream on Elm Street.
Are the ones Wood Rocket does.
I'm actually going to disagree here. I agree that they aren't good movies, but I feel like, if people like them, then people like them. I mean, look at something like, I don't know, like Sorority House Massacre. That's not a good movie. It's just made to be a cheesy slasher with lots of tits in it. Like, people have their niches and they get met. There are people out there that genuinely enjoy the like straight to video sci-fi movies that get made. And think about it this way. For every like run of Sharknado movies, that funds something like a Battlestar Galactica reboot.
I'm not sure how that's a good argument.
Yeah, I'm with you.
A lot of people thought like Battlestar Galactica won awards for its writing in sci-fi. So I'm just saying
I've never really watched it. Damon has told me that my buddy Damon.
I haven't watched it either. I know it is popular and I know that it's won awards, but it's the same reason like people are like, oh man, all these stupid superhero movies keep coming out and they're so stupid. I'm like, well, yeah, but if Disney wasn't making money off of superhero movies, then they wouldn't want to put money into like the independent studios that they own that put out these independent movies that everybody loves. Like it's a life cycle, and there are people who like Sharknado.
Sharknado's fucking trash.
That's fine, but somebody still likes it, and I'm not going to be upset that it exists just because I don't like it.
I'm happy for the people that enjoy it, but I don't like the trend that it caused that kept us from getting good shark movies for a long time. And trust me, it's not hard to be a good shark movie. You don't have to do that much. It's not like literally there is tier 1, which is Jaws, tier 2, which is Deep Blue Sea, Shark Night, The Shallows, 47 Meters Down, like The Meg, and then there's tier 3, which has like shark movies that still take themselves seriously, but they're made for TV, lower budget, like the Shark Attack 1, Shark Attack 2,
Jaws 3D.
No. Jaws the Revenge. Jaws 2 is in second tier. But, Red Water, shit like that. And then after that, you have Shark Attack 3 Megalodon and fucking Shark Hunter. And then after that, then you get the stupid goddamn Sharktopus 3-headed Shark Attack Sharknado shit.
I just don't feel like those shitty sci-fi movies have an effect on horror as a genre in general.
We're not talking about horror as a genre. We're talking about shark movies.
That's fine. Even shark movies specifically. I just don't feel like they have as big an impact as you think.
They did. It killed the fucking genre. We were getting a steady stream in the early 2000s of decent, like, made-for-TV shark movies. And they started dying out when the Mega Shark and Sharktopus and Sharknado happened, and when those happened, we didn't get any more. All we got were these ridiculous, over-the-top, fucking carnival shark movies.
It's because everybody started.
The genre.
everybody started assuming that damn the movies that the companies that were trying to make the bigger movies, the bigger shark movies, they were assuming that people were assuming that they were going to be fucking shitty and ridiculous like the rest of them, and they didn't make any money at the box office or anything like that. And so what happens when that happens? Goddamn, they stop making movies of that particular genre.
Like sci-fi went from making like creature features and showing low budget creature features like King Cobra and Komodo on their channel to showing ridiculous shit like Super Gator fights Piranaconda.
And see, the crazy thing about that is I can remember when that shift happened on the Sci-Fi Channel. I can remember when that happened because the Sci-Fi Channel used to put out amazing stuff. You used to could go to
the stuff they put out amazing.
Yeah, when at the early start of the Sci-Fi Channel, fuck yeah, it was, because Sci-Fi Channel was playing all the old good movies, and then they started, slowly but surely going downhill, and then they ended up it almost ran at the same time that they changed their emblem, because that's not always the way that
sci-fi the actual spelling to SYFY.
Yes. It almost happened right around the same time.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So I'm not saying it affected the horror genre. I'm saying it affected the subgenre of shark movies.
I like shark movies. I really do. And the crazy thing is one of the most popular horror movies of all time and one of the best horror movies of all time is a shark movie.
Yeah.
That's true.
But it is not fair to compare any shark movie to Jaws. Jaws is an anomaly. There's like, I see so many people comparing The Meg to Jaws, and I'm just like, why? You don't compare every Exorcist movie to The Exorcist. It's fucking stupid. Like, nothing is going to compare to, like, that movie that is the special fucking crown jewel. You're not going to compare my penis to fucking Peter North.
But the crazy thing about that is damn, like I said, that's one of the greatest.
Thanks, Jay.
That's one
You're
of the
lying,
greatest,
but thanks.
That's one of the greatest horror movies that's ever came out. And so by people trying to imitate that obviously will never happen, but then by them trying to do it, we still got serious shark movies or somewhat serious shark movies. And then all of a sudden, damn, when, like Jerry said, when sci-fi started doing that thing, it went downhill.
Yeah. And
then we got shit like Sharknado.
To be honest, I'd have to look at the dates, but around the time that we started getting all these fucking stupid movies, the only 4 good shark movies, not including The Meg, that came out during this period were, for the most part, very spread out. Shark Night 3D, Bait 3D, 47 Meters Down, because technically it came out before The Shallows, straight to DVD. DVD got pulled, and then it got re-released in theaters a year later.
Oh, really? I did not know that. I only saw the advertisements for theatrical and then saw it released in the theater. That's funny.
Yeah, it actually came out on DVD under a different name also. On straight to DVD, and got pulled because they started seeing... Because The Shallows was coming out and had all this hype for it, and they were like, "Oh fuck, let's do it." And then The Shallows 4, that's it. And to be fair, it's not like we've gotten a huge influx of shark movies throughout our entire life, but the amount of quality went sliding downhill greatly. So it's just one of those things where I just don't like, even before, even bad shark movies before them, like Shark Hunter at least took itself seriously. Might have sucked because it was a low budget creature feature, but at least it took itself seriously and it wasn't, fucking about a shark with titties or something. There is no movie about a shark with titties, but I'm sure eventually it'll happen.
I'll stop Googling.
Put the fucking phone down, Jay. But yeah, so I don't know. This just turned into a little rant about... I was actually just going to
it's cool.
Address the backlash I got for the Nightmare on Elm Street thing. And talk about it. But then it ran into us talking about shark movies, and I'm okay with that because I love shark movies. So, I guess with that being said, we're going to get out of here, guys. Next episode will be Horror Coliseum, Freddy vs. Jason, number 2, Friday the 13th, part 2, versus A Nightmare on Elm Street, part 2. Hopefully we will be joined by Alex Edwards, and it'll be very interesting because his favorite movie out of both franchises are the part 2s. So his heart is going to be put in a blender as he has to judge these 2 movies to see which one is the better one. And we will also be judging this because it's going to be hard for me because I really like Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2 and I really like Friday the 13th Part 2.
Are we going to watch it spin around to a beautiful oblivion?
Rendezvous and then I'm through with you, Jay.
Oh, okay.
But yes, it is going to be fantastic. So with that being said, I don't think there's anything else. Go check us out on Patreon, YouTube, Facebook group, Twitter. Fucking, we got shirts. We have feelings. We've got tentacle porn somewhere. Horrorporn.com. We're looking at you. Where's that sponsorship? We need that. Hook us up. So with that being said, we will see you all next time. Thank you for listening. I know this was a weird episode. I think
it was a weird episode, but I feel like it's got some really good, solid discussions in it. We had a good, solid discussion about Robocop, the Blob review, and then we talked about shark movies afterwards. Like it's good. It's a nice episode between our awesome horror coliseums.
This was a nice discussion episode. So with that being said, we are out of here, guys. Thank you for joining us. Jay, do you have any parting words?
I love you guys. Thanks for listening.
He loves you. He also doesn't think RoboCop is that good. You
take that back, young man.
Yes, ma'am. And Kenneth, do you have any parting words for the lovely people out there?
Show me the way to go home.
Dum, tired
and I want to go to bed.
I had a little drink about an hour ago
when it got right to my head.
Wherever I may roam, with a sea. Okay. All right, we won't ruin that song anymore. We were singing Jaws, the song from Jaws.
You switched it to wherever I may roam, wherever I may roam.
No, I would never sing Metallica. I fucking hate Metallica.
Sorry.
No, this was before Metallica. Metallica stole that shit from Jaws because they're fucking hacks.
I can't take this abuse much longer.